Episode 9, Dōmo Arigatō, Mr. Robo, originally posted on August 12, 2012. If these guys look familiar, they should. Machinerobo was the predecessor of the American robot line called the Gobots. In the same way that Hasbro converted Diaclone into Transformers, another company, Tonka, converted Machinerobo into what more people know today as Gobots. But Gobot toys were never very popular here in the Philippines. For me, it was all about Machinérobos. I got my first Machinérobos from my usual source and supplier of toys and all things good back then, my dad. I remember finding them cool, since they were like Transformers in that they also transformed from vehicles to robots and back again, but their transformations were simpler, and their small sizes made them easy to carry around. Of course, they also came with a small catalog that showed me the rest of the line, and there were a lot. A funny thing I remember was that these robots didn't have any real names other than a code number designation like MR1, 2, and 3, and so on. Of course, back then it didn't occur to me that MR was short for Machinerobo, so I would call my robots Mr. 1, 2, and 3. I was very formal with these bots. Anyway, like I said, although not as complicated as Transformers, these were cool robots, and I did get quite a lot of them. Probably more than Transformers since they were a lot cheaper. So you may be wondering why these guys didn't make as much of an impact on me as Transformers did. I thought about this for a moment and almost instantly came up with an obvious answer. Although the Gobots toy line didn't make it to our shores, the Gobots cartoon did, and quite frankly, it wasn't very good. Okay, most unbiased Transformer fans will admit that the original G1 cartoon was far from perfect, but it managed to do what the Gobots cartoon failed to. Aside from introducing kids to robots, the Transformers cartoon, and later the toy tech specs, introduced us to actual characters, the noble and stoic Optimus Prime, the cocky and delusional Cliffjumper, the treacherous Starscream. I could go on and on. Even my third-string favorite Blue Jet Thundercracker was a Decepticon who wasn't quite convinced by the Decepticon cause, but followed Megatron because he feared him. This was deep stuff for a kid's toy line, but it made these robots more real to me. On the flip side, it was like the Gobots weren't even trying. Each episode featured the same 6 good guys and bad guys, with the occasional guest appearance from some random bot. So yeah, in my opinion, the Gobots toy line died not because they had an inferior product, but because their manufacturers failed to go the extra mile and build a world around their characters. In the end, Hasbro ended up buying Tonka, along with the rights to the Gobots. So now the Gobots are essentially all Transformers. So that's a good thing, I guess. Yub nub! I pretty much wrote most of what I wanted to say about my early days of collecting Star Wars in a previous post. By the time I moved on to collecting G.I. Joes, Star Wars was almost a distant memory. I say almost because I did manage to hold on to some of my favorite characters. And when I say favorites, I don't mean Han, Luke, or Leia. In 1983, when Return of the Jedi hit the theaters, the first time I laid eyes on the Ewoks, it was pretty much love at first sight. I read somewhere that Lucas intentionally invented the Ewoks in order to attract younger viewers to Star Wars. Well, mission accomplished. I loved these guys, and I couldn't get enough of them. I would watch my Betamax copy of Return of the Jedi, as well as the 2 Ewok movies that followed, Caravan of Courage and the Battle of Endor, over and over again, just to see my favorite Ewoks. The initial line only offered 4 distinct Ewoks: Wicket, the Star, Logray the Medicine Man, Teebo the Scout, and Chief Chirpa Chief. Later on, they added 2 more, Warok and Romba. These guys made up my Super 6, and I would take them everywhere I went. They didn't fit in with any of the other toy lines though, but I didn't care. They stood out on their own. Years later, when I started collecting toys again, I made it a point to not collect Star Wars. Simply because there were just too many lines out there already, and I wouldn't know where to start. Although I did occasionally get tempted to buy just some random Jedi or bounty hunter here and there. Anyway, a few years ago, Hasbro released a new and improved Wicket action figure. I went back and forth on this. But eventually I decided, I guess one new Ewok wouldn't hurt, and promptly bought him. Shortly thereafter, they released a new low-gray, and then an Ewok 2-pack, and then a 5-pack. I guess at this point, you know where all of this is leading to. I hate you, Hasbro. Thanks for checking out Stories from the Toy Shelf Redux. For more stories, please like and subscribe to this channel. Click on the notification bell for updates or visit my website at storiesfromthetoyshelf.com and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Until the next one.